Time again for Shelton City Council looking ahead with Interim City Manager Mark Ziegler. And Mark, Tuesday night study session, street trees, in the downtown corridor. What's going on there?
Well, this has been a discussion for some time, particularly after the 2015 downtown visioning plan, and we wanted to, address the entirety of downtown, but Railroad Avenue is really Shelton, and so how we can make it more pedestrian friendly, more visually appealing, and deal with some of the aging infrastructure we have in place, and that really the first thing to address are the existing pear trees, the street trees that are in place. They're non-bearing pear trees, so no fruit comes off them. And some of the impacts they have on the sidewalks. So the roots, grow up, they find their nutrients wherever they can. They grow up to the cracks in the sidewalk or the seams in the sidewalk. They start buckling them and heaving them. So that's kind of first and foremost. It can be a liability issue, a safety issue for our residents and for the city. So we want to address those, and we've been trying to maintain those as best as possible by grinding down the sidewalk where you might have a lip or an edge. But some of them have gotten to the point where it's just time to replace the sidewalk, pull it out, but then you have the roots underneath the sidewalk, right? So you have to address those at the same time. Can you cut the root? And you move the tree? At this point, those options are really out the window. They're getting close to 30 years old. So it might just be time to replace a couple trees, place a couple trees that have been missing for some time for whatever reason. They're removed, and look at some options as far as repairing the sidewalks. So we remove some of those hazards, potential hazards down the road, and make it a more walkable and more aesthetically pleasing area of downtown.
Some of the areas, there's a lot of leaves. Is that something that you want to look into as well? So you reduce the maintenance on that end, cleaning it up?
Yeah, potentially. There's, we have a list of acceptable street trees that we've developed over the years. Those are based on the type of tree, the maximum height that it might grow, the canopy that it develops, the root structure and where the roots will go. But again, they're a living creature, right? So they're gonna do some things that you might not anticipate depending on the situation they're in. It can be quite stressful placing a tree in that environment, surrounded by asphalt and sidewalks and buildings. So they may react differently. But typically the conifer trees don't work real well in these situations. So you're looking at a deciduous tree. So you're going to have leaves no matter what. Typically in a street tree environment or situation. So we just have to build that into our maintenance program. You remove them out of the gutters when the leaves fall. You have some cleanup and blow off of, but it really, it provides shade. It absorbs groundwater. It removes some groundwater or rain from hitting the streets. Lowers temperature for those areas downtown and just more aesthetically pleasing. So we think there's a lot of benefits to that outweigh, maybe some of the negatives of some of these street trees. And so right now, because we're not doing a wholesale replacement, we're looking at replacing a like for like. So they're either Cleveland Select Pear or Chantilly Pear is what they're called, and replacing those like for like right now, and just not doing a wholesale replacement, but just replacing the ones that need to be replaced incrementally over time with some trees that have some size to them. There won't be a little 1.5 or 2 inch diameter or caliper trunk. So we can maintain some of that atmosphere that we have now.
I could get into a lot of different aspects, like the one time when the city looked at putting them in concrete boxes.
Yeah.
And that wasn't acceptable for a lot of people, but these are the types of things you're going to discuss on Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want to present this to the council for options and alternatives. We certainly have limited resources available to do a project like this. So we want, for lack of a better term, most bang for our buck, right? and we want to have the most impact to our community with the resources we have available. So those are the options that we presented to council and get their feedback and hopefully move forward with a plan and project that at least people understand. Everybody might not agree with it, right? But at least everybody kind of understands the target, the goal, and the path forward.
All right, that's the topic of the study session Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, courtroom at the Civic Center. You can watch on Zoom or join on Zoom, or you can just watch it on the city's YouTube channel.